Hello, and welcome to FTT Chats, where we sit down with some of the great and the good of FinTech for a bit of a chat. I'm Liz Lumley. So today we're speaking with Tom Bentley of Vodeno. Hello, Tom. How are you?
Hey Liz, I'm very well. How are you?
Very, very good. So we're going to start off with our first introducing you to our community question. So this is Tom. Who are you and what do you do?
What a question. Hi, I'm Tom Bentley, and I'm the head of growth at Vodeno. Spent my whole life since the grad in the world of core banking, fintech, all across the world. So, spent some time in Singapore, Australia, and my hometown of London. And obviously a big fan of the FT community. So, fantastic pleasure to speak with you today, Liz.
Excellent, excellent. We're going to have a good chat. So, Bendino has been described as an operating system for financial services. Can you tell us what that means?
Sure. Vodeno's had an interesting history. It was founded around 2018, really with the mission of looking at embedded finance, not only for banking as a service, and it's very much tied into a banking license that we obtained from Ion Bank, but also looking at the overall digital transformation of sort of how banks, financial service providers sort of transform themselves into the digital age. And a key part of that OS piece, which is very different, is that we sort of look at the industry as a team sport. So we actually embed partners into our offerings. We work with the likes of MasterCard, First Data, so that we're not only looking at sort of your traditional banks and financial institutions, but also very much in the new world of embedded finance, merchants looking to offer financial services to their customers. It's for me, it's really about providing that opportunity or platform to very quickly enable that disruption.
I'm glad you mentioned banking as a service and embedded finance because that's the next question I'm going to go into. I mean, so banking as a service, there's been a lot of talk over the past year, especially, and talk about embedded finance. It seems to be kind of the buzz topic of the moment in fintech. Should the traditional financial services industry be worried by this trend, or is it simply increasing access for financial services?
Yeah, so I think we've been through a lot of buzzwords and trends over the last few words, but every one of these kind of show-stopping moments for the industry provides risk and opportunity. And if you look at some of the banks in the market, including ourselves, ironically through our partner Ion, we're sort of embracing that and looking to sort of digitalize those sort of services. So, for example, if you look at cards and payments in the context of when traditionally you'd have sort of these third parties strung together, and the merchant would have to operate those, to hand those services off to a trusted institution, which essentially what a bank is really, really powerful. However, I think the risk is, you can see a lot of sort of banks, fintechs sort of waiting for that moment, as they did with open banking. And really the time is now, I believe. And just the pace of change is really significant. So if you look at the likes of Stripe, PayPal Credit, Chasing Klarna, for example, I go through eBay and suddenly I'm presented with a world of credit options, right? So being able to give consumers that choice, but owning that choice, I think is really, really important. So the way that we look at that is really being able to provide that context really, really quickly, but also to rapidly achieve that at speed. So by embedding those partners that I mentioned, and this is where that OS principle we think is really important. It's not about managing hundreds of different sort of processes, governance, all the things that come with financial services. It's about distilling those into what you need to achieve really, really quickly to get that opportunity, whatever vertical or industry you may be in, really, really fast.
Excellent. So, I mean, your company's just gone through a rather substantial funding raise with Warburg Pincus, and whenever a company has that type of raise, there's usually a pretty specific growth, and goal attached to that. So, I wonder if you can give us some insight on the plans for the company and when we can possibly call you guys a fintech unicorn?
Well, we'd love to be a unicorn as soon as possible, as every fintech in the industry strives for. It's interesting because although that finance is extremely important when you're running a balance sheet and building a bank, different fintechs are going different routes. So traditionally, I've worked in fintechs who've gone through the Series A, Series B, Series C. Having that upfront investment allows you to kind of get head on to those challenges. So being able to bring all those partners together to build out the servicing components, you need to do it properly. That's essentially what that investment is for. But to come back to that whole principle of the unicorn, it's really about that rapid growth and the ability to industrialize those services very, very quickly. So without going into too much detail, we're working with some really disruptive, not only banks, but also merchants to kind of internationalize the proposition. And to do that, you need to have obviously great ambition, but a little bit of capital fire behind you doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt at all. I think everyone would agree with that. Excellent, Tom. So for our final question, you have to indulge us because we like to have these chats be kind of personal and conversational. And in the past, we've asked people how they're dealing with lockdown, and we've asked people what brings them joy. I'm bringing a little sort of crystal ball Harry Potter magic into our 2021 question. So I want you to pretend you have that magic wand, and what wish, if you had the power, what wish would you grant the industry or society or in general? So you can answer that how you wish. If you were a fairy godmother, Tom, what wish would you grant?
Let's not talk about my weekend job, but wow, what a question. I think there's two parts. I think everyone, what they wish for right now is everyone to get vaccinated, everyone to be safe so we can see each other again, especially like events, like Digital Builder and the things that you guys do. I guess selfishly for me, having been in industry a few years now, I used to be a professional DJ. I still keep a pair of decks in my house. And what I would really love to see is more, mashups, right, in the fintech space. I think what we're seeing is, a whole global kind of rollout of copy and paste banks, taking good ideas and replicating them. I really want to see more disruptive models. And, I try and bring that into my day-to-day job with the fortunate entity that I'm with who are able to do that. But yeah, for me, it's just about bringing that imagination. And Harry Potter's a good example, right? A bit of magic, I think it's really easy to achieve. It's about bringing propositions together at the right time.
I like that a lot. Bringing that mashup from being a DJ and bringing that magic into financial services. I like that answer a lot. That's great, Tom. Wonderful. So thank you so much for sitting down for FTT Chat and have a great day.
Thank you so much and look forward to seeing you guys very soon.
Excellent. Us as well. Thanks.